Hello, Internet, and welcome to another edition of the DNA Sports Recap. My name is Darren. That is AJ. How's it going, my friend?
I'm doing good. That light's not on.
Oh, okay, great. Cool. Well,
Slight set adjustment. And I even got here early.
yeah, it's funny.
All that, and I got here
Do we
early.
need the light? Do we need it?
No, I mean, it's not terrible.
It's not terrible.
That one's on too, though.
For crying out loud. Our lighting is just choice this week, guys. Forgive us. We're just going to roll it. I think we're just going to roll
Okay,
it.
let's do it.
I think it's fine.
Let's do it. We're fine.
Folks, join us on the live stream. If you are watching us live, please join us in the chat. Jump down. Let us know where you're watching from, what your favorite color is, as long as it's red, because that's all AJ cares about.
That's it. That's it. Any shade of blue, unapproved.
Congratulations to Michigan fans out there, national champions.
Yeah, the
Wolverines.
NCAA tournament, that's insane.
Congrats to all the Michigan fans out there.
Yeah.
I know we have one that chimes in here once in a while that's a big blue fan, so hopefully we see him in the chat there.
Yeah, boo him.
Before we get on with the content, folks, we have the pre-show cheers.
Yep.
Cheers to you, my friend.
Cheers to you guys.
Our lighting's off. We have the overhead light on.
Starting
Coasters
with
are
a bang
falling.
today.
Pets' heads are falling off. Good stuff. Good stuff.
Starting with a bang.
As a reminder, folks, who are watching this on our live stream, please jump in the comments. Join the chat. Let us know where you're watching from. We want to hear from you on the subjects. We'd love to interact with you guys live while we're doing this, because that's the whole point of doing this live and not recording it, is we can interact with you guys.
Because
So,
it's way easier to do it unrecorded or unlive.
unlive.
Unlive. Recorded. You guys know what I mean.
Yeah, let us know how our audio is, by the way. We've been messing around with the mics for like the last 15 minutes trying to dial that in.
Yeah, and clearly we did it enough that we forgot to turn the lights on and the overhead light off and you name it. So
We're killing it.
let us know.
We're killing it. All right, so you want to go ahead and get in the first subject?
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, let's go ahead and talk a little bit about the Utah Mammoth.
Let's do it.
All right, so let's go ahead and get into it, man. First thing we want to talk about when it comes to the Mammoth is, well, again, we're coming down to the home stretch here, and we want to kind of break down the playoff odds. So as it sits right now, AJ, we are on the road to Stanley Cup playoffs here in Salt Lake City. Gosh, it sure is nice.
Isn't that's such a crazy thought, especially like this team has been here one full season and this is their second year in Salt Lake City.
Yeah, and we're already in the hunt for...
Yeah, we're hunting, man.
It's nice to have playoff sports in Utah, like, once again.
Any of them. We'll take any of them.
Yeah, we will. We definitely will.
Yeah.
Now, the Western teams that have already punched their ticket when it comes to the playoffs are the Wild, the Avalanche, and the Stars. According to MoneyPuck.com, the Mammoth have a 98.6% chance of making the postseason as of the time of recording, AJ, which is not a lock, but it's about as close as you can get.
It's about as close as you can get to being locked, that's for sure.
Yeah. Now, with the Mammoth having 88 points right now, still sitting in the top wild card spot, which most are inferring that that's going to be the spot they're going to hold.
Right.
Winners of 4 in a row now, AJ. 4 in a row, the Mammoth.
Yeah. Yeah. And that game on Tuesday, they won their first game in franchise history against the Edmonton Oilers. And I mean, this is a game where they fell behind 3-1 early. Right. And it kind of looked like, oh man, we could be in trouble here. And then they kind of stormed back. They end up winning it 6-5 in overtime behind a Clayton Keller game winner, which was awesome.
Right. Hat trick that game, right?
And what does this have to do, you might ask? At the time of recording, the Mammoth have a 45% chance of playing the Oilers in the first round.
Okay.
So winning this game was huge because that is their first time in franchise history in the 2 years that they've beaten the Oilers.
Right.
So that's a big time game. But this helps kind of prove to this team and its players really that they can beat an experienced team like the Oilers and help this team win in their remaining games and go out there and have confidence heading into the playoffs. So if this does end up being their first round matchup, they know they can go out and match up with these guys and play. And I mean,
yeah, you got the monkey off your back of not being able to beat these guys.
Yeah, that's the last place you want to be is in a playoff series with a team with that much experience. And like your first thought is like, we've never beaten these guys.
Yeah, it throws me back to the Darren Williams days of when we haven't beaten San Antonio in San Antonio in like 10 years,
Yeah.
regular season game or playoff.
Yeah.
And so like, I just like, it's just to have that monkey off your back going into the playoffs, knowing, okay, this is a seasoned veteran team. That team can beat you, and they have been quite oftenly, but it's not impossible.
Yeah.
And to have that win, especially in overtime in a game where they both are trying to win that game. Gosh, it's also nice to have a sport where everybody's trying to win the games too, AJ. It's kind of nice.
Like every player on the ice is actually going out there trying to like do their best to win the games.
Yeah, I remember.
Even the coach is even out there trying.
Yeah, it was really funny because last week we were talking about how a player got his 400th goal off of in his career. And one of the things that they mentioned in hockey is that when you go to see a player, a famous player out there in hockey that's coming to Utah, he's suiting up, he's going to play.
Yeah, absolutely.
There's no game time decisions or any of that kind of stuff in this. Like they're here to play, and they're going to show up, which is always great. Yeah, man, I'm super excited. This is awesome to have this team here in Salt Lake City and to have potential and to have hockey, playoff hockey in year 2. Not only that, like you mentioned, the Edmonton Oilers 6-5 in overtime is huge coming down the stretch, knowing that you have the capability of beating this squad and not having to worry about that monkey on your back and be like, oh, ho hum, what was us? Especially when there's a good chance you're going to be facing them first round.
Yeah. Yeah. And the thing is a 7-game series is long, right? And the first round playoffs are 7-game series. But you got a chance. You went out there, you played tough, you came from behind to beat them in overtime is just awesome. So the Mammoth also have a 24% chance as of now to play the Anaheim Ducks. Not an ideal first round matchup. That's a really talented team. Those guys beat us last month beat us 1-4 last month. So we didn't play great in that game. Not saying we couldn't still take the Ducks in the first round, but
this offense is humming though.
The Oilers that's the team that we kind of want, right? They're right around the same wins and losses as us. We've got, I think, one more win than they do. I don't have their record in front of me, but and then we also have a 22% chance of getting the Golden Knights. So, yeah, I mean, we're a wild card team, so we're not going to have that home ice advantage, that can help, but even getting 3 of those games in Salt Lake City is going to be awesome.
Yeah, and is it too early to get greedy?
Yeah.
Is it too early to get a little greedy and be like, do we want to win a series? The first series, is it too early to get greedy about that?
No, and I think it's not necessarily even. I think that's an expectation from this fan base, right? Like you've watched this team play such good hockey, and they've come so far. I mean, they're really gelling. You see these guys just playing together while they're out there. The offense, like you said, is just it's humming. That's a very mild way to say it because there's times out there where you're just like nobody can beat this team. Like there's just too many people that can score. Like the defense looks great. We got a great goaltender. Like
I don't know when in the last week and a half this team scored less than 4 goals.
Yeah,
like they probably have, but if you'd have to remind me. But yeah, the Edmonton Oilers have the exact same point total as us, by the way.
Yeah,
88 points. We're both sitting at 88 at the time of recording. They do have one more win,
but they can win the division. They can because they're in the Central Division.
They're in the Pacific.
Oh, Pacific. Yeah.
Yeah. So they have their division title.
Yeah.
Not locked up yet.
But close, yeah.
But everybody in our division is locked up.
And they're way ahead of us in points.
Yeah, about 22 points ahead of us.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, anyway, we'd love to hear from you guys. Let us know what your thoughts are in the comments down below. Let us know where you think as far as the team's odds to make it. Like I said, it's not quite a lot, but it is looking that way. And we're getting closer and closer to clinch time for this team to...
It's getting exciting.
It is. It really is.
Yeah.
One thing we want to pivot on over to before we jump out of the Mammoth conversation is there's an article that came up earlier this week. I think earlier this week or late last week. This was an article from The Athletic's Scott Wheeler. He mentioned that the Utah Mammoth are ranked 6th in the NHL for the greatest prospect depth.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, that's insane to think that how many talented players we have out there right now. I mean, how many young guys we got on long contracts that are going to be with this franchise for years to come. But then you look into the prospect pool and it's like, you got, Tij Iginla, Caleb Denoyers, like those, I mean, just those 2 guys right there, they're probably ready to be on an NHL roster somewhere. They're playing really well in some of the lower leagues. And I mean, it's really cool to see this team doing such a good job drafting players and keeping young talent, and then, also signing and making trades for players that are going to help this team win right now.
Yeah, and on top of that, there's, just the strength and how well the team is balanced on both high-end skill and size all throughout the team. Like all throughout the minors, you got not only, talented players like Tij and Cole. You also have Maverick, who's also you got decent size players like Maverick and stuff like that. We've drafted size as well as talent, and just to know that, this is really nice to know that you have a team that's making a playoff berth in the spring, and we didn't have to, bet the farm for a Hail Mary to get all in.
Yeah.
And go all in on this one and try and push for it. We've gotten there with Armstrong doing things the right way in Phoenix for the Coyotes. And then when that team came up to Utah, they just kept, reaping the rewards of, having to play at the bottom, and really solidify those draft picks and make the right moves, sign the right players that you need to have without, again, shredding your entire farm system and your entire future.
Yeah.
Keeping this team in a prime position to compete year in and year out for
and now they have a fan base, like an actual can come to every game fan base.
Yeah.
And top of the line, training facilities, and like you put all of this together, and like this is how you build championship clubs.
Absolutely. Yeah. It's going to be fun, man. Can't wait to see it. Can't wait to see it. Did you see the Mammoth?
I did. Dude, that thing is so cool.
Very, very cool.
I just want to drive it around my house.
Well, you might run into something or you might tear
it's
something.
Fine.
Because, the tusks. Did you see the tusks?
The tusks are so sick.
Yeah, it's so funny.
Dude, that whole thing is so awesome.
That's funny.
Yeah.
But yeah, let us know if you guys seen it in the comments down below. Let us know what your thoughts are on anything we talked about when it comes to the Utah Mammoth today, when it comes to what we talked about as far as, being close to clinch, how the farm depth looks with that article and the Athletic, and as well, let us know what you think about the Mammoth, man. I think that's so cool. One of a kind. I don't know. Have you seen any other Zambonians that are customized in the league?
I haven't. Not that I watch a ton of hockey, but like it's got to be one of the only ones.
I don't think I've seen one that's that decked out.
Yeah.
Maybe a custom paint job, graphics,
right?
Something like that. But just to have one that like is
the whole logo, like that's so sick.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. Pretty cool.
Yeah.
Once again, folks, we want to hear from you. Let us know what your thoughts are in the comments down below when it comes to Utah Mammoth. Please subscribe to the channel. Check us out. Drop a like on this video for your boy AJ right over there.
Do it.
All right, let's go ahead and pivot on over and talk a little bit about the Utes, shall we?
We absolutely should.
Okay, let's talk Utes. All right, my man. So there's a few things we want to talk about when it comes to the University of Utah. The first one is, before we get into that, we want to do a DNA tip of the cap to the University of Utah Red Rocks. They were actually, they won the Big 12. So they won their conference when it comes to gymnastics, and they made it to the regional finals, which is in a year where this squad wasn't really ranked as high as it normally is for them. They're usually typically top ranked in the country. For them to not only win the conference but make it to the nationals regional finals is kind of a big deal.
Did you see they did not make the national finals for the first time in 49 years?
Yes. Yes, that's true. But
they did win the conference.
Again, in a year where they haven't really been ranked at all the whole year.
Yeah.
So the fact that they still went out there and
in a down year. Absolutely.
They still got a conference title. You want to hang your hat. You want to keep that streak going. But, as we'll talk later in MLB, not every streak lasts forever. So
not every streak.
But anyway, so congrats to the Red Rocks there on a great season. And, we look forward to return to form next year for sure. Now, when it comes to what we want to talk about when it comes to the Utes, is the first thing we want to talk about is the article that we saw out there that talked about Coach Scally and how he's able to retain their star quarterback in Devin Dampier with Coach Witt and his OC of the past 2 seasons, Jason Beck, both bouncing and going to Michigan. Their entire offensive coaching staff went to Michigan, if I'm correct. I don't think anybody stayed.
No, I mean there were some coaches that stayed, but for the most part, I mean, it was a lot of them.
It was a lot of them. Yeah. To have Devin Dampier say that there was a specific gesture that the team made that was huge for him. So the story goes in the article here that on his return back from surgery from Philly, repairing a sports hernia. Did you know he had a sports hernia?
I did not until I read this article.
Yeah, I thought that was crazy. Like,
Yeah.
I knew he was a little banged up towards the end of the year, but I didn't know of any specific injury that required surgery.
Yeah.
That was news to me. So when Devin Dampier emerged from the plane in January, coming back to Salt Lake, he was surprised to see every member of the Utah coaching staff at the airport. He said when he came back from surgery, I couldn't walk. Dampier told the Salt Lake Tribune, I couldn't really make the first rounds of meetings with the coach Morgan Scally. Scally put in a huge effort with me and made the one-on-one conversation with me. Dampier said, I think that we really got to learn from each other, and I was able to learn things about him that I never knew. He was able to hear things about me that he didn't know about me as well. I think the real heart-to-heart conversation, what he wanted out of me and shared his beliefs in me, the loyalty there sealed the deal for me. I know the day after we had that conversation. That's huge, man. You absolutely love to see that. Not only just simply the gesture of making sure the entire coaching staff is there when you get off the plane, but just being willing to have those one-on-one conversations with, again, this guy could have easily just walked over to Michigan with the rest of, with his OC that he's been working with.
He had an offer.
Oh, yeah. He could have gone over there.
Yeah.
But the fact that he stayed, I don't know if Utah outspent Michigan for him.
Unlikely.
But, yeah. So the fact that there's a lot more than just the paycheck is pretty impressive for this kid.
Yeah, I mean, I really love that Morgan Scally just kind of continues to show up, like him and his coaching staff to just show up for their players, right? I mean, it just shows that this coaching staff is just class act. I mean, he's making these players believe in themselves first, making sure they know how important they are to the University of Utah. And by doing that, he's making them believe in him. And that's like the second hand, right? Like that's the best part of it is like he tells them how he believes in them. And by doing that, they believe back in him. So it's really awesome to see. And I mean, that's exactly how it should be. Like realistically, I mean, you can coach all you want, but you can't go out on the field and make players win games. Yeah. You have to make sure that these guys believe in themselves, believe in what you're preaching day in and day out. And he's coaching to get the most out of these players, and him knowing that Devin Dampier returning to the U, that steadies a ship that was, let's be honest, starting to rock just a little bit, right? That was priority number one, was to get Devin Dampier back. Mm-hmm. And he didn't have to do it in a deep conversation. He did it with an action to show up and make sure that he was seen and he was comfortable. And when he got back, that he knew that he was priority number one for Utah. That's got to mean a lot to Devin as a quarterback. I mean, I know as a Utes fan, like when you heard Devin was staying, that helped the nerves quite a bit, right? I mean, you saw a lot of stuff happening that you weren't sure which direction. I mean, it was a real trying time. So it's a great. I'm really glad that Coach Scally handled it that way very specifically. He got Devin Dampier back. And it gives this team an opportunity to grow on the great season that they already had last year.
Yeah, 100%, man. I'm looking forward to it. This is going to be a good year solely because of the strength of the best offensive weapons they had that they could possibly have returning.
Yeah. In
Bert Flicklin and in Devin Dampier.
Yeah,
both
absolutely.
Coming back. And then they, we'll get into this article here next when we talk about some of the improvements that we're going to see on, positions where we weren't too confident in the next bit here. But yeah, this is the type of story that you love to see because you read this and the whole time you're thinking before he agreed, like, what did they say? What did they do to get him to come back?
Yeah.
And is this a repeatable thing that Utah can do to make sure they don't lose talent in this year where it's very much in this type of football where it's very much transactional now?
Yeah.
And so when it's something like this, where it's something that's repeatable, it's not just who wrote the biggest check. It's not just, hey, it's your old OC from back in the day. We're going to keep you happy.
Yeah. It's who was there for me.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Love it. Absolutely.
It's actually loyalty to the team that's taking care of you and giving you this opportunity to come into Division I football and play at the highest level in a Power 4 conference. It says a lot about Devin Dampier as a player, and I think even a little bit more about Morgan Scally and knowing that he's the new face of this program and what he can do to keep it moving forward.
You love it. You love it. We want to hear from you folks. Let us know what your thoughts are in the comments down below when it comes to this story. Did you get a chance to read the full story there on the Trib? Give us your feedback. Let us know what you thought in regards to that. The next thing we want to get into is, there's this article on sportsillustrated.com. This one was from Cole Forsman. He had an article up where he was discussing, now that we're over the hump, there's probably about like 10 days left in spring ball practice.
Yeah.
The 5 weeks, we're over the 3, right? What we've learned so far from spring football here at University of Utah.
Yeah.
And we'd like to go over that and kind of just give our thoughts on the 3 main things that they put in there. And you guys feel free to chime in. Let us know what your thoughts are. What did you hear in regards to coming out of spring practice there? What are the 3 things, or is there anything specific that you heard that you wanted to dive in on? We'd love to hear from you on that. So you want to get into this?
Yeah, absolutely.
So the first one's going to be the O-line is exceeding expectation. So Utah did lose all of its 5 starters at this position last season, either to the NFL or to graduation. And the first-year O-line coach, which is Jordan Gross, has been seeing improvements and getting this group really ready for the 2026 season. What's your thoughts on this, man? Are you seeing? I don't know. What's your takeaway from the fact that they're just reloading at that position?
Yeah, I mean, I just have a really weird feeling that this offensive line, they have such big shoes to fill. I mean, because we had such a great offensive line last year. There was a ton of experience. I mean, 2 round 1 draft picks on there. But I just have a really weird feeling that this O-line specifically is going to far exceed expectations. I mean, the coaches are already saying they're exceeding, expectations for where we're at in this season. I think when the season comes around, I think this is going to be a fantastic offensive line unit. There's been quite a bit of talk about Cedric Jefferson. He's a Montana State transfer. He's really excelling. I mean, we got to believe that Kelvin Obot, he's going to be out there on the field helping this unit. And really, I think the thing that probably gives me the most confidence is we got to remember that Utah's known for one thing, and that's a defensive line. Utah is a great defensive line coach, a great defensive line team. And this defensive line didn't lose as many pieces.
Right.
So we got these young or inexperienced offensive line guys coming in, and they get to play against a Utah defensive line every single day that is going to push them to their limits. And that is going to help them going head to head against great players that have a ton of reps. Iron sharpens iron, man. And I think it'll help get these guys up to speed a little bit faster. And I think, again, far exceed expectations I think everyone's kind of reeling it back. I'm all for that, but I think at the same time, I think this could be a really good unit for the Utes moving forward.
Yeah, there's a lot of. I think I'm going to use the quote that Scally has on here. He's like, Jordan is such a good teacher with those guys, and they're having a lot of fun. You're seeing the progress every single position, every single practice. That kind of statement there from your head coach. Yeah, I mean, a lot of this, you guys, you're going to be taking tongue in cheek just simply because the chances for them to unenroll, we talked about last time, is how even though there's not a spring portal anymore, there still is a chance for these players to leave your program.
Absolutely.
So you want to say the right things about these guys to keep them here and keep them happy. But this is a lot of conversation that's coming out simply because of this reason, and because of it, it doesn't sound like fluff to me. It's kind of like every recruiting season, like, oh, we got all the players we wanted. No one's going to come into that press conference saying, man, we really missed on the 5 guys we wanted, but we got these other 5. I guess we'll do all right. No one's going to say that.
Yeah, we didn't get all of the guys we wanted, but I mean, it'll be fine. We'll coach them as good as we can. It'll be okay.
Yeah, so some of this is going to be conference talk, press conference talk, just to keep your guys. But I don't know. I think there's enough of the conversation there that I've heard through interviews and with the media that have been able to see practice that would say this. There's a lot of truth to this one.
Yeah.
Secondly, Daniel Bray is due to make his big leap in his sophomore season. Singling a player out as one of the big 3 reasons, that big 3 takeaways from spring camp so far, says a lot. This kid did show some talent in 2025, and they are expecting more out of him this year.
Yeah, no, I mean, absolutely. And I love that Coach Scally has not talked about him in 1 or 2 interviews. It's almost every time he's in front of a microphone, he's talking about how good Daniel Bray has been. I mean, he's saying how he's gotten his body ready, how he plays with intensity. He's been setting blocks up the field. And I mean, he's just bought into the culture. And this kid's talented. I mean, we saw him take a couple runs, break him off for some great yardage. He's really fun to watch. And he was a player that I really thought we would see more of last year because he kept having these breakout plays. And, they threw some wheel routes to him. And it was like, I feel like this guy's he's got the talent. Like, why aren't we using him? But at the same time, it's like, okay, I'm good with it, and especially if he did need, I mean, coaches see a lot of stuff that we don't see as fans, maybe his body did need a little bit of work. He wasn't quite big enough, as a running back for the U, you've got to be able to run block, pass block. When you're back there, there's going to be a lot of schemes where you're going to need to be able to set a block and go into the flat and catch a pass. And we know that Wayshawn Parker can do those things. Mm-hmm. So it kind of minimizes how much you need a small, fast running back. But I think that with how much he has improved, it'll be really cool to see how he's paired with Wayshawn Parker, and if they can even make the whole offense that much better to have that skilled and quick and explosive type player out there with this offense.
Yeah, comments from McGivern on Bray here. He said he's one I'd love to expand his role so you can see what he really can do. He's a really dynamic player. Kind of speaking to what you're talking about there, there's obviously some reason for why they held him back, probably just to prevent risk of injury, I'm guessing.
Could be,
like you said, maybe his body wasn't ready for it. But, I'm looking forward to it, man. This one's going to be pretty good. I'm looking forward to seeing that progression. If he came into spring, what was it, 20 pounds heavier? I can't remember what it was.
Yeah, I think it was like 20 pounds heavier.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, love to see it, man. Looking forward to it. The next one we have here on this article is the Utah State transfer, Braden Pagan, who has made his presence known pretty well on this squad coming in. So I don't know. What's your take on this kid?
Yeah, I mean, he was just voted to the Leadership Council, which says a lot about a player just transferring in. And we knew that this addition would kind of help the team learn the offense from a player's perspective, right? Like, you're going to do everything you can as a coach to help install an offense. I mean, I've read multiple things that Kevin McGivern has worked really closely with Devin Dampier to try to change some of the like the terminology they're using to make it a little bit more familiar. Mm-hmm. Similar concepts, changing the terminology on the field so that everything's not so brand new and so daunting, which is a really cool thing. But then to hear that you have a player out there, and he was in one of his interviews, he says that he was willing to help players that have questions. He's like, if anybody has questions, I hope they come ask me because I'm willing to help with whatever I can. Like, that was like kind of what he was saying. And that is exactly what you look for in a senior wide receiver that, is wrapping his career up. The Utes have gotten so lucky pulling in culture guys that are just brought in and just buy in immediately and help promote it and push it forward. I mean, there's a ton of really good highlight catches that Braden Pagan's already pulled down. And I mean, you're just hoping he just keeps building that chemistry with Devin Dampier and continues to kind of flourish in this system. I think McGivern's comfortable with him, so he's gonna count on a lot of targets that direction, and hopefully they can pull it all together when it matters.
Yeah, I really like one of the comments here that they had for him there. Again, Scally said on Pagan there that this is one of the dudes that you wish you had 20 of them. He's such a good kid, smart football player, athletic, can jump out of the gym. We're so excited to have him. And I think, to your point, being a senior, that probably helps a lot. But just to kind of come into a new locker room, into a, Power 4 conference and have that kind of presence and willing to take on that leadership role, when it could easily just be, like, hey, I'm going to take a step back here. There's obviously more talented players on this team than me. Like, I'm going to just take a step back. He's not doing that, man. He's, taking on the leadership role. And like you mentioned, on the leadership council, first year transfer in, which is insane.
Insane.
I love it. it. We also have another comment here. We have a comment here from McKinley Cutler. He said, so I don't know. So I know that there is technically a new rule now that is supposed to stop the tampering of players so they can't unenroll and then re-enroll to extend the transfer portal. Do you think this will do anything? I don't think so.
He has another comment. He kind of continues it.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I love this term. McKinley. Or is it just a paper tiger rule that will fall apart when the first player / coach takes the NCC to court and sues them for trying to say the students can't decide which school they can enroll in? Yeah, I heard this. Did you hear about this rule?
I did, and I think it's they're trying. They're trying to get a handle on all of this, right? Because everyone understands that the system in college football is broken. Like, you have to have some, I mean, especially with how much money is going out, you feel like there needs to be some sort of contracts or something tying like anything to somebody, because realistically you're a free agent at the beginning and end of every year, which professionals can't do that. And you guys are getting paid to play now. So I think this rule is trying to accomplish the right thing. I don't know if this was the best way to do it, but I mean, I'm excited to see what they come up with next. Hopefully they can kind of build off this and make sure that players, aren't just unenrolling and re-enrolling, because we all know what that's doing to college football.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to really do much. I mean, like you said, I love the term paper tiger because I think that's exactly what it looks like. I just don't know. There's just too much involved in it, and there's just too much money involved in it. And once money gets involved, it's really kind of tough for anything to really get in the way, even when it comes to things like rules or executive orders, or anything like that. So it's just kind of one of the
very
things,
limited.
Yes, you know, it's technically not federal law, so that's kind of where that one's going to be kind of. I think that's a good place where we could put that one. Is that I think you're right. I think first time somebody challenges this in court, I don't think they're going to win.
Right.
So. I think the players should be allowed to go wherever they want, whenever they want, just like the coaches.
Yeah.
Until you hold the coaches accountable, you can't hold the players accountable.
Exactly.
You even the playing field now. Okay, great. Now what? You got to try and scale that back. Just that genie's out. That genie's out of the bag.
Well,
man.
but I mean, at the professional levels, though, if a coach gets fired, he can take another job. But
when you're firing,
you don't see professional coaches just switching so much. Right? You go onto a 4-year contract. Coaches get traded. Their contracts get traded and that kind of stuff in the NFL. But something like that has to happen. To your point, right? Yeah. Like something has to happen where if a coach is under contract and a player agrees to play with that coach while he's under contract and he gets traded or moved or decides to go, I agree that that player should have the option to go with that coach. That's who recruited them. That's who they want to play for. Or
simply leave that school altogether.
Exactly.
And explore a new option.
Yeah.
I think it'd be even not just even the head coach, could be the offensive or defensive coordinator, whoever the position coach.
And I think you have to limit that to at some degree.
At that point, right there.
Yeah. Head
Anything
coach
below that,
OCDC. Yeah.
Coordinator. Other than that, we get like to the quarterback's coach or the lines coach or.
Yeah, you're like, I really wanted to play for this offensive analyst.
Yeah, this
makes $20,000 a year.
Exactly. This college intern.
Yeah.
Now that he's graduated, I want to go. Michigan's offering me $10 million a year. I'm going to go there instead.
Really feel like we got a chance.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So, I love it, man. I appreciate it. Thanks for jumping into the chat there, McKinley.
Thank you very much.
Appreciate it. Did you hear about the 2 BYU players that are entering the portal? Did you see this?
No.
Yeah, they had. I think it was just today.
McKinley could probably tell us who they were.
Yeah.
Dude, I'm just like riddled with anxiety over here. I need to know. Tell me it was someone good.
Oh gosh, I just heard it 10 hours ago. BYU. Oh, no, this is on the basketball side.
Oh, that don't matter.
Yeah.
Everybody in the basketball side enters a transfer portal.
I know Rob did. Yeah, that was the player that I was thinking of. Rob. He left.
I don't know who Rob is.
Yeah, he's yeah, I think he. Oh, gosh.
Rob Gronkowski.
Yeah, that's who it is.
Nailed it.
Rob Wright, right? No, that was the point guard, right, for the basketball team. So, anyway, yeah, it might have been on the basketball side. Anyway, correct me if I'm wrong on that, McKinley. I could be wrong. McKinley is our resident BYU fan. for the team down south there.
We appreciate you, buddy. Thanks for tuning in.
Absolutely love it. Appreciate it. Thanks for jumping in and commenting on the show. It's always great. All right. So, again, I love this story there of the three things. We'll probably have like another week and a half left of spring camp, so we'll see what happens for the last little bit here.
Yeah.
Stay tuned. We'll probably have some more stories that come out in the next week that we'd love to talk about. So if you guys have anything that you'd like for us to talk about in an upcoming episode, feel free to jump in the comments. Let us know if you hear a story that you want us to cover. We'd love to hear from you. Let us know what you think.
Yeah, and obviously we like giving our opinions, so you guys let us know what you want to hear.
Yeah, exactly. That's great. That's great. All right, let's go ahead and pivot on over and talk a little bit about the Utah Jazz.
Let's do it.
It's hard to see now it's purple on the thing, versus yellow.
Yeah.
All right, man. So there's a few things we want to talk when it comes to the Utah Jazz here. The first thing we want to talk about is, we've got 2 games left in the season.
I think is that all there is?
I think there's only 2 games left in this season.
Oh no.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, don't hit that button. What's up, channel legend Greg Hawkins? Thank you for jumping in.
What's up, Greg?
How you doing, my man? I looked it up on the NBA schedule, and according to NBA.com, the Utah Jazz,
easy.
The Utah Jazz only have 2 games left on their schedule, which means we're near close to the end. AJ, only 2 more losses.
Finally,
2 more losses, and we can be done with this whole tanking business. Leave it behind us, and just move on to greener pastures.
I'm so excited to watch the Jazz win again. You know how much I love Jazz basketball, and you know how frustrating it is to just watch them get clobbered on purpose every game.
Yeah, and it's not even the winning; it's just the trying. When you know that the players on the court are trying, and you know that the front office is telling the coach to pull them out so they don't win.
Yep,
that's getting really frustrating and hard to watch.
Yeah,
and it's not just the Jazz. We've talked about this ad nauseum. Why we think that this is the only way that the Jazz can really build a team in the modern NBA. Unfortunately, in the player empowerment era, this is really the only way we can grow a team, right? So
it is the only way.
Yeah,
look at the Oklahoma City Thunder. They're where they are where they are because they tanked for 4 years.
Yeah.
And they acquired enough assets that they could trade for the players they wanted. They can do all the things. So you can say that tanking is the devil and it's the thing that we don't want to happen. But this is how NBA franchises are built.
Yeah.
And the NBA did this.
Yeah, the NBA did this. It was their rules.
Yeah.
It was the Players Association. They're agreeing to these rules and kind of everybody coming together and saying, okay, this is how we're going to do it. For a small market team like the Utah Jazz, for a market where, you go play in Utah, where players don't want to sign here unless we overpay for them, and players that basically block trades, and don't want to come here anyway. It makes it really tough. The draft is really kind of the only way that we can do it.
The only way.
So in this case here, we've said it to our blue in the face. Hopefully this is the last time we're talking about it, because 2 games left, we'd be done. Yep. But as it sits right now,
and then we got to move on to all the good stuff, all the off-season stuff where we can be super optimistic.
Yeah, absolutely. We got a comment here from Greg Hawkins confirming, yes, 2 games left.
That's actually McKinley.
Oh, sorry. Did I say McKinley? I say Greg. Yeah. Sorry. A comment here from McKinley saying, 2 games left and they can't end sooner. It's been the most disgusting basketball I've ever seen. Yeah. Yeah. And the fact is it got worse from years before when we had the worst record. Somehow this basketball we're watching this year is worse than last year.
Yeah.
We're signing a bunch of 10-day contract players and putting them out there for 25, 30 minutes.
That's actually what the next comment says.
Oh, nice. Jazz have been committing crimes against basketball this last month. 10-day guys are so bad. It's crazy. The Jazz have tanked hard enough that they might drop to 3 on the standings. Yeah, so we'll talk about that in episodes coming up further for sure.
Yep.
But what we want to talk about today is we want to talk about, as of the time of recording, the Utah Jazz are sitting where they're probably going to be selecting 5th in the draft.
Yep.
So let's say everything plays out the way that it looks like odds-wise.
Do you mean that it always plays out? Because the Jazz never move up in the draft, Darren.
No, but what I'm saying is that also that it never stays the same. That's also true. The Jazz will either stay or drop, never go up.
Yeah.
But obviously, the number one chances never get the number one pick.
Yeah.
So, like,
We're saying there's a chance.
what we're saying here is this is an exercise in futility. It's like doing preseason rankings for college football before the fall,
Before spring camp. Hey, people watched it.
Before fall camp even starts. Like it's really just until you got a couple games in a year, there's really nothing you can do to kind of identify what's going well for a team, what's not. But in the same case here, you could go to takeathon.com, hit the button. Ooh, that's what we should do next week.
Yeah.
We'll pull up takeathon.com.
Yeah.
Do a random draft poll, see where the Jazz are. We pick what player we think the Jazz are going to take.
Oh, that's a good idea.
I like it.
Yeah.
That's what we're going to do.
Yeah.
As long as it's not fifth. I want to do it again because we talked about it this week.
Yeah, exactly. That doesn't work.
All right, so let's talk about it. The Jazz get number 5 pick overall. Who you're going to draft, AJ, and why?
Jazz picking at number 5. I really hope you didn't pick the same player as me.
Oh, I'm guessing we probably did. we probably did because I think you and I are in line with what the Jazz need to be doing this offseason. So anyway, you go for it, man.
I'm going to go with Keaton Wagler. It is the same player, isn't it?
It is. It is.
I thought about this as I was doing it because I'm looking through like the top 10 recruits and I'm like, this is what we need,
why
though.
we tell each other
we pick. Yeah, this is why.
All right.
Sorry.
Run your line there.
Sorry.
Why should we pick Keaton?
Probably because he's a 6'6" guard that shoots 39.7% from the three.
Yeah, 42% on the road, by the way.
Yeah. I mean, this kid's super talented, dude. He plays with his heads up. He's got a quick, smooth release. He plays well through contact. He's known. I mean, you look at all of his draft profiles. He's known as a high IQ basketball guy, very efficient scorer, playmaker. I love the size at 6'6". I love the wingspan near 7 foot. He does need to make some defensive improvements. His lateral speed, not great, especially in the NBA where your guards are just too fast. But he's
not a problem
great
for this team.
But that's exactly my point. Is if you're going to have one weak spot on a Jazz team, next year, might as well put it with your 6'6" guard that can score from anywhere on the floor.
Yeah, and then everybody else on the team is at least 6'6".
Yeah.
So you can.
Well, Keontae's only 6'5", isn't he?
I thought he was 6'7".
No,
that's
George.
Ace. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Ace is
6'5".
6'7",
Yeah, so 6'5", 6'6". What I'm saying is there's enough size, enough reach there that even half-assed defense would be better than wholehearted defense from some of these short kings the Jazz have drafted in the past.
Yeah.
It's much better. Much better.
Yeah. I don't know. I really like this kid. I watched probably 30 minutes of highlights and, plays, and he is just a smooth shooter. I love that the 5.1 rebounds and 4.2 assists say so much about the player that he is.
Under 2 turnovers a game, too.
Because he plays with a ton of energy to fight for rebounds. He's always got his head up. He's looking for the best pass to make a good basketball play. He can knock down shots from anywhere on the floor. I really, really like him at number 5. If he's available, go that direction.
Absolutely. I am not going to argue with that in the slightest bit. He's easily the best player that I think the Jazz can take at 5, really at 4 or below, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
Even if, let's just say right out the gate, this guy isn't ready to play out the gate, that's perfectly fine because, that works right into what Ace Bailey's really kind of put himself into because he's really set himself up as a position to be a starter next season. This guy's really kind of put himself in that position to be that starter. So if, you put him out there and then you have this great kid in Keaton that we can develop, they could come out, do the 25 minutes a game, really kind of, hone his craft, and then we can go wherever the matchups take us going forward there. It's insane that this pick would be perfect, AJ. And I cannot say.
It's funny that we picked the same one.
Yeah. And I cannot, it's kind of obvious, on this one, if we're picking 5,
Yeah.
Some people would say other picks, but honestly, what we don't need is another big guy.
We don't need a big guy. And we don't need a 6'3" point guard.
Yes, which is what we're going to get into. We don't need any more undersized guards on this team. So let's go ahead and jump right into the rumors that the Jazz are interested in a short king guard, AJ. It has been mentioned in several publications that the Jazz are interested in Darius Acuff Jr. In the draft. Have you heard any of this?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. No, I've seen quite a bit of it, and the kid's a great player. He's a freshman point guard. Played at Arkansas this year. I believe he was the SEC Freshman Player of the Year. Shot 44% from three on 6 attempts per game, which is very high volume and a very high percentage. He's a great shooter. Did you see that he joined Pistol Pete Maravich as the only freshman to lead his team in scoring and assists all time?
Don't care.
John Calipari, this is a guy that coached SGA, Devin Booker, John Wall, the list goes on and on and on, said that if you pass on this guy, you will regret it. This player is unique, says he lives in the gym, and he says he just reminds him of a lot of the other great players that he's coached in his time.
So 6'3" at the combine, probably actually 6'1" in shoes, probably about my height there. Out of shoes, probably is my guess. I'm sorry, man. I'm done with this, man. No more short guards. I've made that very clear. We're gonna make a T-shirt. No more short kings in Utah. We're just done with it. I don't know what this team's obsession is with them, but the Jazz have always had issues regarding perimeter defense, and the one underlying thing is that the Jazz are obsessed with drafting and developing undersized guards. It's just been something that they have done for at least a decade. And it got to the point now where, like, you've got size everywhere. Why would you do this and draft this guy, Darius, and he's going to be a great NBA player. Don't get me wrong, but let him be a great player on any other team. I'm perfectly okay with passing on him and losing sleep for that one. Because, honestly, I want this team to develop based off of what we're putting together, because this team's going to be in a unique position when we have size at every position, up and down the lineup, not only in our starters, but also in our backups, and also in the third-string rookies that potentially may see in court time. When the shortest guy on the team is going to be, Isaiah Collier?
At 6'4", yeah.
That's kind of saying a lot, So
Yeah.
it's really kind of putting this team in a position where you're going to have size, you're going to have length. Why would you go and do this? Great player, don't get me wrong. But he's going to be, a shooting guard? Why would you have a point guard taller than your shooting guard? Just like, I don't know. For me, there's just it makes sense for why the Jazz would do this because they've done it a lot in the past, but it also doesn't make a lick of sense when you have better options for you
especially if you're a 5.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know.
Yeah, he's kind of originally projected to go around the number 7 mark, and that was kind of before his NCAA tournament performance. He did have a great tournament, played in some good games, carried the team, put him on his back. He's quick. He gets to his spots. He can score it from anywhere. He does reportedly have a 6'6" wingspan, which would indicate that 6'3" might be his actual height.
Okay, fair enough.
You know what I mean? Otherwise, 6'1" with a 6'6" wingspan is insane.
I just mean, we watched Walter Clayton win the national championship last year with Florida, and he couldn't make this team.
Right.
So he couldn't see the court. So I just don't know. Yes, we want to take some credibility into playing well in the tournament because the lights are bigger, the pressure's higher. But I don't think it's the end all be all. I think the intangibles that you're going to see from these players, like the measurables on their athleticism, that kind of stuff, their size, their length, all that matters when it comes to drafting talent. I'm hoping that this is more of the media playing NBA 2K front office than it is the team's actually really interested.
I think it could be, this is my conspiracy theory.
Okay.
I think this could very much be the Jazz saying something like this.
Ooh, I love it.
This is Danny Ainge we're talking about. Just to turn the whole draft stock away from the player that they're actually looking at. Okay. That's what I'm hoping is going on here.
I like it.
So, I don't know. I actually don't mind this kid. Not that I want him to draft a 6'3" guard, but he is a really, really talented player. He reminds me a lot of Damian Lillard. Really natural shooting stroke. He can score from anywhere. He's quick. He actually is a serviceable defensive player in college. Plays with a ton of energy. I think he's a great young player. I just don't think he's necessarily the best fit for what the Jazz are building right now.
Yeah, I have to agree with you on that one. I think the article on The Athletic says that Stephon Marbury is his comp.
Yeah, Stephon Marbury. There was another one. Damian Lillard, I think, is another comp. Like that's kind of the route that they're going. I don't know. I think he's a great player. I mean, I
Totally
watched.
agree.
Yeah, I think he's a great player, but I don't think he's the right fit in Utah. That's my problem with it.
Have to agree with you on that one. Let's hit a few of these comments here. We got a comment from McKinley saying the Brooklyn Nets have 3 games left and 1 against the Bucks, and tonight we are playing the Pacers. You have a good chance of winning 2 more games this year. They have a good chance of winning 2 more games this year, and it says, sorry, I meant tomorrow they play the Pacers. Yeah. Yeah, I'm hoping we go 0 for 2 the next 2 games. Like,
Oh, absolutely.
you know,
I unfortunately don't want to see a Jazz win.
yeah, which is fine
Yeah.
because then this is over and then we're done.
Yep,
You
and
know, I
I'm
think
just fine with that.
I think all of Utah fandom is ready for it to be over. You know, if we take 2 more losses, they've lost 10 straight now.
Yeah.
We get 2 more losses in it, and we accept the fine and we move on. You know, we're happy campers, right?
Yep.
We got another comment from McKinley here. Nah, I'm thinking we fall backwards into Darren. Backwards into Darren. What are you thinking?
We got Ace at 5 last year, and I'm thinking Darren tanks his draft stock and goes to the Jazz at 5.
Oh, okay. That's right. You're thinking the
Yeah.
Jazz are going to be higher up in the draft then. Because at the time of recording this, the Jazz odds were 5, depending on how the game shaked out today.
Well, he's saying like Ace because Ace fell. Ace was a projected top 3 pick, but
Right.
his draft stock, they kept pushing him and pushing him. So he's saying we fall
Yeah.
at 5
But
to
Ace
get a top 3 player at 5 is what he's saying we get.
Yeah, I don't think Darren's going to fall that far.
I
He's
don't.
still,
It would take a lot of work.
considering the majority of people are
Yeah.
thinking he's still the number 1 overall pick, even though his
Very,
issues,
very well could be.
you know, a lot of people just said Ace is off my draft board because of the way he acted preseason.
Yeah,
He acted, you know,
which was his agent.
exactly. Not even his agent, his manager.
Right.
You know. So anyway, I'm glad that worked out in our favor, right? Yeah. So that's exactly what you're talking to, McKinley. I
So
think.
we're at 53. Maybe we push Sensabata next week?
If you want to, yeah,
I think we roll a baseball.
yeah,
Yeah. Because that's a great one for next week, too.
sure. Because we have to talk about that one. We also have to talk about flip.
Yeah.
So okay,
Yeah.
and then do our draft lottery.
Yeah, exactly.
Ooh, that's a good week.
yeah, that's a good week.
Make sure you guys stay tuned for next week. We're going to be doing some fun stuff next week. All right, let's go ahead and pivot on over and talk a little bit about Major League Baseball.
Let's do it.
Okay, AJ. So let's go ahead and talk a little bit about Major League Baseball. Oh, by the way, folks, if you're watching this on our live stream, please jump in the comments. We'd love to hear from you. We want to hear from you in regards to everything we're talking about today. Since we're talking Major League Baseball, we have a couple of subjects we want to hit in baseball, and we'd love to hear your take on it. The first one is my favorite topic. Whenever I tell people I'm a baseball fan, I always hear the same arguments, AJ.
Oh, yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So I always hear this argument like, oh, baseball's boring. Baseball sucks. It's not fun. It's so slow. Like there's nothing going on. Did you know, AJ, in a full NFL game, in the 2.5 hours of
Yeah.
an NFL game, did you know there's only 11 to 18 minutes of actual gameplay
Absolutely.
in an entire NFL game?
Yeah.
And so I don't understand why they say baseball is slow and boring when even in an NFL game, you're only getting up, at the latest 11 minutes of
Yeah.
action versus 18 minutes of action, and we hear this all the time, oh, there's a 162 game season. There's too much downtime in between pitches, too much downtime between, innings, it's just too complex. It's too difficult, and it's really hard for casual fans to kind of get involved with the game. What I want to do is I want to talk about this subject today because I think now's a great time to talk about it.
Yeah. Oh, it absolutely is. Especially because baseball is one of the few sports that's actually consecutively growing.
Okay. On your line, man. Let's hear it.
Yeah. I mean, baseball over the last few years have implemented quite a few rule changes specifically to increase viewer engagement. One of the first big ones was obviously the pitch timer. They did this to drastically reduce the dead time between pitches going in and ultimately their goal was to have faster baseball games. The whole reason they put a pitch clock in was because they said the games were too long. They were just over 2 hours and 50 minutes. They've got them down to like 2 hours and 38 minutes now.
Oh, probably less than that.
Yeah. I mean,
Probably.
so the average
Some of
baseball
them less
game
than that,
by
yeah.
implementing this pitch timer accomplished exactly what they were looking for. They saw that there was an issue with, defensive issues, right? People want to see the ball put into play and runs being scored. Really tough to do that when you have as much tape as you do on Major League Baseball players now. You can put an infield shift in, and these guys hit to the same spot. Major League Baseball stepped in, said, "Hey, this is not going to work. Like we're seeing on base percentages fall. We're going to put a shift restriction in, make sure that infielders have to stay on, A, the infield dirt, and B, on your side of second base." And this whole thing was put in place. There's still, you still see shifts within the rule now, but it encourages players to hit the ball hard and, put it in a hole traditionally. And that's exactly the way you want to see it, right? They made a great rule change to make it look like a baseball game, because it was really weird before the shift rules came out when you got, everybody's on one side of the infield. You're like, what are we doing here? It didn't even look like baseball anymore. So, they increased the base size up to 18 inches. It reduced a little bit of distance between the bases. And
what happened the first year that they...
And the first year they do it, it drastically increases stolen bases.
Well, what's our motto when it comes to Major League Baseball?
Stolen bases equals MVP.
And what happened in the first year they extended bases?
They had, two players with...
No, Ronald Acuna.
Oh, Ronald Acuna, yeah.
Yeah, got the MVP for stealing 70 bags in one season.
Yeah.
Which is insane.
And it's all because they were bigger.
Yeah, well, no.
It's because he's wicked fast.
He's wicked fast.
Yeah.
He's that good. He's like, the bases are bigger. I can see
but,
a second.
But also, in that same season, they implemented the pickoff limit, didn't they?
Yes. So you can only
Yeah.
throw over to first.
2 disengagements per plate appearance.
If you throw over a third time, you don't get them, they automatically get second.
They get second, exactly. So, that surge in stolen bases is what makes baseball fun. That's what people want to see. Like when I watch baseball, and I loved baseball growing up. I got disengaged for a few years. I love watching baseball again. But what you want to see is stolen bases. And I like watching pitchers throw back to first, especially now knowing, okay, they've only got 2. So it's like a chess game now. You know what I mean? Like, okay, I can throw over once on this hitter, but once the next guy comes up, I might have one more if he's still there.
Or if they step off.
Yeah.
That counts as a disengagement.
That counts as a disengagement. Absolutely.
So the runner can now see
exactly. That. It's all chess game, man. I just love it. Baseball's done such a great job, with the rule changes. Obviously this year they introduced the ABS challenge system.
Which has been so much fun.
It's been so much fun. And the thing is these, I feel like it's drastically changed the way that umpires are calling games.
Oh yeah.
Like those calls, there's a few, we talked about it last
week's episode.
Yeah, CB Buckner obviously has missed quite a few, and some of those were really bad. But for the most part, like when you're watching these games, you're seeing umpires call a much, much tighter game. They're not missing calls by 2-3 inches. Does it take some of the glam out of the game, right? Like great pitchers get better call, get a few more calls, that kind of stuff. Yes, but it does stay true to what baseball is. Right. The ball's got to go over the damn plate. And that's how it should be. Right. And players are trained their whole lives to recognize the ball going over the plate. And you see it because hitters, when a hitter calls a challenge, that's my favorite thing. It's like, this guy knew.
And when it's like strike 3.
Yeah.
He's like, nope.
That was too low.
Yeah.
And then you see it missed by 0.2 of an inch. And you're like, damn, these guys are good.
Yeah. Well, that's what I love about that one is that, there's always this talk about how the NBA, in the Major League Baseball, the umpires are trying to be the story, right? They're trying to be people are like, they're trying to insert themselves as being part of the game. Well, guess what? Now you are.
Yeah.
So if you make a bad call, anybody can challenge it. Anybody like this, like pitcher, catcher, hitter, anybody who doesn't believe with you can challenge it. And then you're going to either A, look like a brilliant person, or B, look like an idiot. And so
you got
congratulations,
your chance.
you got your chance to be
you
part
got
of
your
the game.
chance. Yeah, absolutely.
And I love it. I love that the umpires now are clapping back too. Did you hear this story?
No.
Oh, it's so good. Like the pitcher threw a ball and he called it a ball, but it was close enough that he thought the pitcher thought it was a strike. And so he's like chirping back. He's like, "Oh, come on, man. That was blah, blah, blah." And so the guy takes off his Mac. He says, "You have another challenge? You want to challenge it?" Even though the 2 seconds are gone, he's like, "You guys want to challenge? You want to challenge it?" Just immediately just like saying, "Hey, you don't like my call, challenge it."
Yeah.
And I absolutely love that.
Yeah.
Gives a chance to the umpires to clap back at a pitcher who's just being ornery and just being a whiny little you-know-what. Like if you made your better pitch, he would probably call it or he would swing at it. So I don't know. It gives that umpire that chance to really, you want to be part of the story? Guess what? Now you are.
Yep,
Enjoy.
absolutely.
Enjoy.
I think one of the other rules that I really like they put in is the permanent extra runner inning, the permanent extra inning runner.
The ghost runner.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, placing that runner on second to start the 10th inning is now permanent. This is such a great move by Major League Baseball to continue to drive down game times where people were, like that's the problem with baseball is it can get a little tedious, right? Like you get into the 9th inning, if you've got two pitchers that just threw shutouts for 7-8 innings, you haven't seen any offense. It's like, hey, we got a base runner now. It motivates the players to get a hit. It motivates guys to just, hey, try to pop it up. Like let's play some
small ball,
some small ball, some some strategy baseball, because we can win this thing right here. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Or if you go out and get a good stop, like, hey, we can win. Like we got 2 fly balls and that thing's in.
Yeah.
So I love it, dude. Major League Baseball has just done such a great job. And like I said at the beginning, 2025 marked 3 consecutive years of attendance growth, over 71.4 million fans for the first time since 2007. And this growth is propelled by the faster pace of play. Like people are on note saying that they like baseball now because the game's not 4 hours long. Yeah. Like it's great. I mean, and MLB did a great job partnering with, social media people like John Boy that brings in the younger demographics. Kids like watching that. They like seeing what players are saying on the field. MLB.TV streaming is up 27%. Like MLB has done such a good job growing their platform across all social media. They're making baseball available to more people, and you're seeing it in every single thing. And it's just a beautiful thing, man. Baseball is just so much fun to watch.
Did a great job of turning it around. I'm not arguing that the fact that that if you were not a baseball fan or you're not a fan of the team, it was really hard to watch a random game on Tuesday with 2 teams you don't know anything about.
Yeah, absolutely.
I understand that 100%.
Yeah.
For a casual fan, that would have been absolutely insane. Unless you were going in with there like, oh, I'd like to see this pitcher.
Yeah.
Ooh, I want to see what this team does with this kind of pitcher. That you would have no interest in a random Tuesday game. 100% agree with
not
you.
At all.
But one thing I love about this, and one of the things that I saw a stat on the other day, is that the World Baseball Classic, which is an exhibition tournament, it's not Major League Baseball.
Does qualify for the Olympics.
Does qualify for the Olympics, true, which we didn't have last year.
Correct.
Which we are going to have now. But since 2023, the original that World Baseball Classic, the attendance has the interest in baseball has slowly kept up year after year after year.
Yeah.
And I think what's really interesting is that this
speaks volumes.
Yeah. And this Venezuela versus U.S. game, exhibition tournament, had more viewers domestically than any game in the NBA Finals. Pick any one.
I totally believe it.
So the fact that we're seeing that much from that, and obviously last year's World Series broke records. Going 7 games, 1 game, 18 inning games.
18 innings.
You literally had 8 games that season, and it ended in extra innings in a game 7. And then the year before that, you had Dodgers.
And I was at the Utes game, at the Utes football game when the Dodgers won the World Series, and the game had just stopped, and they announced it over the intercom.
Oh my gosh! Seriously?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Ah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
You love to see it. Okay, so now that it's all said, right? Let me get into my take on when it comes to this argument of baseball sucks, baseball's slow, it's boring. Baseball is not boring. It has never been boring, and it will never be boring. Your life is boring. Your life sucks.
Mine?
If you think baseball is boring, if you think the game is too slow, then your life sucks. Your life is boring. I'm going to put it to you that way. And the reason why I say this, and I'm saying to it honestly, everybody now has a hyperfixation on a dopamine hit on 10-second, 30-second swipes ups. Any second you have a chance to be bored, you are looking for a random dopamine hit, random engagement.
Yeah.
There is no time for you just to sit on a bench and have a conversation with somebody nowadays. This very much sounds like old man get off my lawn type stuff, and I 100% agree that I'm saying that. But this is the point. If you are home in the summer, there's nothing better than grilling outside, and you have the baseball game in the background. You know, you don't have to be glued to every single pitch and every single inning.
Yeah.
You're not. You have the game on the background. You're going about your day. You're doing things you want to do. You hear the crowd go nuts.
Crack.
You hear the crack. You're like, what happened? You know, that is baseball. You go to a baseball game. You spend a couple hours with somebody you want to hang out with. You have a conversation. You can't exactly have a conversation in an NBA game.
No.
Too loud.
No.
NFL games. College
This is
football
such
games.
a great take. And it's funny because I didn't realize this is where you were going with this, but you're absolutely right, dude.
It is not baseball that has sucked.
Yeah.
It is society and life in general
Yeah.
that has gotten too hyper focused, too hyper now, quick. This was America's pastime when we actually had time that could pass. We just don't have it anymore. Everything has to be now. Every second has to be monetized or maximized. And we're in a situation now where no one can just sit and relax and enjoy a couple hours on a lazy Wednesday afternoon.
Yeah.
And that is exactly what baseball does. The second you understand that that's what it's there for, it's therapy. It lets you relax. It lets you stare at a big, beautiful field and watch a bunch of, overpaid people play a kid's game and just enjoy it.
Yeah.
That's my take on it. Baseball's not boring. Just life in general has gotten too chaotic that
You're
can't enjoy
boring.
it. Exactly. I want to know what your thoughts are, folks. Let us know in the comments down below. We do have a couple of comments here from Greg Hawkins, channel legend. Baseball rocks. I cannot agree more. Did you see the Cubs game where the guy who lost his pants in the Cubs game? Yeah.
I did not see it.
Oh my gosh, it was pretty good. It was yeah. Anyway, we'll get into that. We probably should cover that one on a future episode. It'd be pretty interesting. Part of what makes baseball great is the build up. Exactly. I just, it's just fun sport to enjoy life with. And if you're trying to stop life to enjoy a baseball game, you're doing it wrong.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. The best part is you can enjoy life while watching a baseball game.
yeah, you don't even have to be in the same room. You just have it up loud enough and be like, crack, like, oh, what happened? Love it. Absolutely love it. So we actually did have a rematch of the World Series this weekend.
Yeah.
Or sorry, this week. Starting off this week on Monday. I don't know if you had a chance to watch any of these games, AJ. Did you get a chance to watch any of them?
I sure did.
Okay. So I
I watched one.
the first one or game two?
I watched the 14-2 ass whipping.
Okay. Why don't you go ahead and break that one down for us?
Okay. Yeah. Did I mention 14-2 ass whipping?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I mean, the offense for the Dodgers just absolutely exploded. I mean, Teoscar Hernandez, Freddie Freeman, both hit two-run home runs. Dalton Rushing hit 2 home runs. Shohei Ohtani added a solo home run. The Dodgers racked up like 17 hits and ended up winning their 4th straight game. Max Scherzer, who was there, I mean, he was out after he was there for 2 innings and then came out. So the Blue Jays aren't looking great. They've now lost 5 straight games. I mean, they came out of the gate looking pretty good. This was it looked like it was going to be a pretty great, a pretty great series to be a part of and to watch. But I mean, their offense is really struggling. Their defense hasn't been great. Their pitcher's struggling. Like they're just struggling to put it together in that first game, at least.
Yeah. In game 2, Dodgers win that one 4-1. Again, I think they have PTSD there when they know that Yamamoto's pitching. 6 strong innings, 1 run allowed. Shohei Ohtani extended his on-base streak, 42 games plus, by the way. Again, contributing offensively, the Dodgers played a very clean and controlled baseball game. The Blue Jays were very sloppy, made 2 errors on 1 play. Basically just kind of exactly reaffirming how the Dodgers won the World Series last year. Everybody's like, oh, the Dodgers, lucked out on the World Series. Like, did the Dodgers luck out or did just the Blue Jays blow it? And the Blue Jays blow it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
and that's coming from a Dodgers fan.
Yeah. Perfectly coming from, you had bases loaded, no outs, and Alex Vesia got out of that game perfectly clean. Struck out 1, fly out, ground out, So, again, Blue Jays offense just continues to struggle. Again, at the time of the 3rd win for the Dodgers, the 2nd game win for the Dodgers, that was, 7 straight losses for the Blue Jays. And what's more insulting, AJ, adding insult to injury, is guess who they got swept by before they played the Dodgers?
Who?
Chicago White Sox.
Oh,
One of the
no.
worst teams in baseball.
Oh, no.
Yeah, so they came in, but thankfully for the Blue Jays fans out there, they saved face and won the last game 4-3. The Dodgers led late 3-1. The Blue Jays rallied in the 7th and 8th, getting key hits from George Springer and Dalton Varsho. basically is more of like there's a throwing error by Will Smith on a go-ahead run. This was more about the Dodgers faltering and blowing a lead than it is the Blue Jays actually winning a game. Shohei Ohtani did pitch well, 6 innings, minimal damage. But I think the Toronto, just got some good hits when they needed to, and the Dodgers bullpen kind of failed them on this one. Perfectly okay, I guess. We still got the series win. Didn't sweep the Blue Jays, and hopefully the Blue Jays can rally behind this and actually do something the rest of the year. But yeah, it was a good like World Series, what's the word I'm looking for? World Series rematch.
Yeah.
Because it kind of really just like, okay, the 14-1, the 14-17, whatever ass whooping that you were talking about really kind of settled the flames of like, oh, the better team, right? The better team lost the World Series. Well, in this series, in this first rematch series from the two teams, like you can clearly see who's the better team in baseball.
I mean, you can't argue it.
We got a comment here from Greg Hawkins. No one's saying the Dodgers lucked out. Everyone had the Dodgers winning it before the season started.
That is a good point.
Yes, but if you watched baseball, you watched Dodger games, you saw how unlikely that didn't seem to be possible. Like it took the Phillies bullpen decide to throw home instead of throwing to first for the Dodgers to get out of the NLDS.
Yeah.
So it wasn't exactly as clean as you'd think. When it came to that, like there's a few other things in there that were kind of interesting, but the Dodgers definitely made the right plays they needed to win it. Yeah, if you just looked at the numbers, saw the Dodgers payroll and the rest of baseball, and saw they won the World Series, it's easy to see how like, oh yeah, of course they won. But if you actually watch the season unfold, you saw where the Dodgers didn't have the best record in baseball, not even close. The Brewers did, of all teams, and they just didn't look as polished as they did until the playoffs started, and then they really kind of jumped in there for sure. But yeah, anyway, we just wanted to touch base on that. Before we move on, there is one more thing I wanted to talk about, which was the MLB Power Rankings. There's some changes on this, AJ.
There is. Some pleasant changes.
Yes. I like it here. So, okay, let's first, again, start with the Power Rankings. Let's start from the top, work our way down. The Dodgers are first. Okay, moving on. We got the Yankees there that actually moved up to the number 2 spot.
From 4.
Yeah, which is a nice little jump. Best pitching in baseball, only allowing 8 runs in their first 7 games. Name the other team that did that, by the way.
The Braves.
In 1993.
Perfect.
Nice. Glavine, Schmaltz.
I probably watched some of those ones.
Yeah, exactly. Giants also did in 2002, but no one cares about the Giants.
No.
But yeah, the Brewers, actually, they jumped up to number 3, which is a pretty big jump.
But I mean, the winning 7 of your first 9 games always helps.
Yeah. I mean, surprise, surprise, this team trades away their best starting pitcher, their best arm, and they somehow are still leading their division and have one of the best records in baseball.
Yeah.
Correct me if I haven't said that the last 2 years in a row. But more interesting, like a bullet, up from 13th. Who is number 4?
That'd be the Atlanta Braves.
Yeah, man.
Dun, dun, dun.
Showing, man, even though they're all banged up, they're still a great team, man. How are they doing this?
They're doing it with great pitching, as surprisingly as that is. First,
Really?
Spencer Strider and Schwellenbach to be out. You'd think, oh, man, this Braves team's in trouble. Chris Sale got into some trouble the other day. He gave up, did you see the Chris Sale situation?
Yes.
Yeah, hit a player, walked a player. He was just struggling. He was just off, and it was crazy because the game before that he pitched in, he was sick, and I think he shut out through 6 innings. He just had a bad game. But the Braves bullpen is, I think, the best in MLB right now. I don't know I think they're allowing .97 ERA. They've given up 1 run in 14 innings or something like that.
Wow.
Yeah, the bullpen looks great. Drake Baldwin is just an absolute stud. I mean, he's either out there catching or DHing. I think he's leading the team in ERA right now. The Braves are tied for first in Major League Baseball with run differential with a +34. Guess who the other team is?
The Dodgers.
Boom.
17-2 does that.
Yeah, the Braves had like an 18-1 game.
Yes, and I loved how that the broadcasters were getting a little anxious to get out of there. Like the position pitcher threw a ball that was clearly a ball. And even the broadcasters like, that's a ball. It's clearly a ball, but come on, man, it's 17-1. Let's get out of here. Like even the broadcasters.
I just love that the Braves were still hitting.
Yeah, I love it. Dude.
Still racking him.
The unwritten rules in baseball are gone now, man. You put a position player in there, the players are just like,
game
cool,
on.
We're swinging. We're done. You know, like if
you're going to throw me a 55-mile-an-hour fastball, I'm going to hit it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I mean, as far as other jumps in here, I think the Blue Jays falling from 2nd to 6th is, when you lose 7 straight games, that happens. The Astros jumped 10 spots, man, holding on. Yeah. Even though all their best players either sign elsewhere or they're getting old and try to play left field. But man, Yordan Alvarez, man, if it wasn't for the fact that Judge was in the American League, we're looking at somebody who's a potential MVP candidate.
Yeah. Yeah. Just playing great baseball.
Holy cow.
Mm-hmm.
Holy cow. The Phillies are down 2 spots, just consistently not being able to put offense together. Did you see that Painter's guy's debut?
Yeah, he was the rookie, right?
Yeah. A rookie pitcher named Painter. You cannot make this stuff up, guys. This is baseball. This is why it's so poetic and so beautiful. A pitcher named Painter had a debut, 5 innings pitched, 8 Ks.
It reminds me of the picture I sent you with Greg Maddux. I asked Greg Maddux to paint my house. He just hit all the edges.
Oh, man. That's great. That's great. I love it. I love it. But yeah, so not really a huge bunch of change there. But there's one more thing we want to hit before we get out of here. And that is a former Salt Lake Bee, man.
Yeah.
Having one of the best historical defensive performances in baseball history, according to most. And I'd have to agree with this just simply because of like I said, context matters. The reason why Shohei Ohtani, I think, had the best offensive performance ever made is because the context matter.
Yeah.
This is exactly the same on the defensive side of why context matter. You want to run this?
Yeah. I mean, Joe Adell's defensive performance versus the Mariners the other night was just, it's great because it was a culmination of really hard work. This guy wasn't a defensive star early in his career and had really struggled.
That's why he spent so much time with the Bees.
Yeah. It was purely based on his defensive performance, but he did become a Gold Glove finalist in 2024. So he has been, growing steadily. But he's just continued to make adjustments. The 3 home run robberies in this one game.
You will never see that again.
This is a feat that hasn't been seen since they started tracking it in 2004.
Oh, you'll never see it again, ever.
I mean, and these aren't like close home runs. These are all great plays.
Especially the third one.
The third one where he falls over the fence to catch it and stands up in the stands.
Yeah.
To show that he caught it. I mean, that's craziness.
The fact that he had his legs still in play when he reached all the way out there to get it.
Yeah.
That's insane.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the first one in the first inning was against Cal Raleigh, right? Solo home run early in the game, keep the game scoreless. Again in the 8th inning against Josh Naylor, he was basically kind of the same thing. The first 2 were kind of just up against the wall where he jumped up and caught it over the big part of the wall. But it's that 9th inning one against J.P. Crawford when they had a 1-run lead.
Yeah.
And if that ball went out, the game's tied.
Yeah.
And he just
game changer, man.
Yeah, just leaned over.
Absolute game changer.
All preserved the shutout with the Angels likely to lose if they were, because again, home team.
I think they call that a pitcher's best friend. I'm just making that up, but you know what I mean? Like if you got a guy that's robbing 3 home runs, you're as a pitcher, you're like, thank you. You are saving my ERA every single time I throw a bad pitch.
There is something called a pitcher's best friend, and it's a ground ball.
Oh, well, yeah, that is a
pitcher's best friend.
Okay, fair enough. You win.
But yeah, I would agree with you that I would trump it if you could ever get one of those. Yeah. But again, this is one of those performances, guys, you'll never see again. Something like that. I mean, one player, like they literally had it on the board for the next game.
Yeah.
The Seattle Mariners, don't hit it to Joseph. They literally put it on the board.
Don't hit it anywhere near him.
Yeah. So that's crazy, man. To preserve the shutout. First time, like you mentioned, that they started tracking this. But I would really like to see anybody who could show me that there's a game where someone did that already.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just insane. One of the greatest ones I think I've ever seen, and I don't think anybody's ever going to see another one ever again.
Yeah. How about that Reynaldo Lopez and Jorge Soler fight?
Oh my gosh.
Did you see it?
Yes, I did.
I was watching the game live.
Oh, that's so funny.
Yeah, I was watching. I was like, what is happening? Because The camera wasn't on it.
No, they went to the replay to show the tag out at second.
Yeah, and then all of a sudden they click back and Solaire's over there trying to punch
It's UFC.
Lopez, which is crazy. Soler played for the Braves last year.
Oh, yeah, he's done it twice. He was a Braves World Series hero,
Yeah.
that 1 year.
Yeah, but he was playing with Reynaldo Lopez last year.
Yeah.
And Lopez hit him earlier in the game.
Mm-hmm.
And then he threw one high and tight, and obviously Soler wasn't super ecstatic about that.
No.
But he just sat there and stared at him. It was funny because I was trying to see the John Boy because he broke it down.
Yeah.
I didn't see what he said.
Yeah. So it's hard to see what he said because the camera angle wasn't there.
Yeah. Plus, he was probably speaking Spanish too.
Yeah, probably. They both speak Spanish, so that makes sense. But the thing is that the stare down that Jorge Soler had against the Lopez pitcher.
Yeah.
During the whole challenge, he didn't move. He stayed exactly
in
where
the
he was,
box,
in the box, bat ready, and just stared him down the whole time.
Yeah.
During the whole replay.
Yeah. Lopez didn't like that.
No, he didn't. A few things I want to comment on this one. One, dude, what's wrong with your catcher?
Was it? I think it was Heim catching when that happened. Yeah.
Yeah. This guy let Jorge Soler take like 4 or 5 steps to the mound before he even got up to get in front of the guy. Like he just kind of standing there like, what? Dude, normally when that kind of thing happens, they go, what? And he takes one step.
There's a catcher. Yeah.
Boom. Gets right in front of, hey, we're not doing, No, this dude let him get halfway to the mound before he even did anything.
And they each got a 7-game suspension. They're appealing, but I don't know how you're going to get out of this.
Yeah. 2 things. One, I absolutely love that the Braves manager tackled.
Walt Weiss went straight to him, dude.
Just wrestling move, MMA. Just boom. That guy actually fought. He knows Taekwondo. He knows MMA. He fought MMA.
Walt Weiss is a stud, dude. I loved him as a Brave.
Just like boom, tackled the guy down to the ground.
Yeah,
and that was his player. He even stood up. He's like, "Hey man, it's good. It's good." Second thing, who in the heck let Mike Trout even get onto the field? What are you doing? Like, don't let him anywhere near that.
Absolutely not. The guy's made of glass. He's hurt 80% of the time. Why are you letting Mike Trout out there?
We have a healthy season to Mike Trout. What are we doing? Just no. Absolutely no. Mike Trout, if you're not at the bat and you're not in the field,
put him on a leash.
Bubble wrap.
Yeah, put him on a leash. You can't leave the dugout. If there's any altercations, you stay in the dugout.
And probably the biggest puffing your chest in baseball or any major sport ever. This is the dumbest thing in baseball. And I would argue to find anybody tell me in any other sport where a thing that makes absolute less sense than this. When the bullpens come into the game for the fight.
I question it every single time. Like,
what are you guys doing?
First of all, the fight's way over. Like, what are you guys doing?
But by the time you guys get there, the fight's already over and they're trying to start the game. Like, by the time they get out
and now you got to run all the way back across the field.
I'm just like, what do you like? There's nothing that's bigger. Like, you're not going to get into a fight. If you're going to get into a fight, fight the other bullpen where they both were running together towards the fight.
I was watching.
Like,
yeah, they're like damn near holding hands, skipping across the outfield. Like, hey,
they're all trotting in there. These guys are literally welling on each other. These guys are just
and I love the catchers that have the knee pads on that are even slower.
Yeah.
Like they're always trailing behind.
Like, it's just like, what's the point, guys? It's a little bit of shoving, and then everybody goes back to their corners, back to their dugouts, and it's over.
Yeah.
But no, in baseball, we had the bullpens rush the field too. And I'm just like, oh my gosh, just the dumbest thing ever. I think it's absolutely ridiculous. I think there should be a rule in baseball that if your bullpen rushes the field during a fight, you're not allowed to use any more bullpen players. They're all kicked out of the game.
Just for the delay.
Yeah, just because it delays the game and makes no point.
Yeah.
They're all kicked out. None of them can pitch that game. And then you have to finish the game with a position player.
Well, what also slowed the game down was they threw Lopez out.
Yeah.
So now the Braves didn't have anybody in the bullpen. He was throwing a great game. So now they got to warm a pitcher up. So it was like a 6-minute delay while this next pitcher comes in. I think it was Dylan Lee came in and he's trying to throw to get warmed up. Like, what are we doing, guys?
It's so great.
Yeah.
So great. Why are the Braves always involved in some of these good brawls?
Go Braves.
It's always good.
I can say that this year. You can't even sad face me.
If you watch any other baseball content, you know what I always do right there when he says that.
Every time I say go Braves, it's like blah, blah, blah.
It's a picture of Azuna, who's not even on your team anymore, and it says eliminated for the play. Sorry, buddy.
It's okay.
It's all good.
Hey, we're looking pretty good this year.
You
I'll
guys are
take
looking
it.
great. You guys are looking great.
Yeah, and that's without our aces too.
Yeah, and who knows? As Marcelo Zuna leaves the team, you guys still are performing well. I thought that guy really was like the heart of the team, and they really need to keep that guy.
I think Drake Baldwin has stepped up so much, dude. I mean, National League Rookie of the Year last year. His bat looks great. I mean, he's done a great job catching, and he just comes in and just changes the whole pace, dude. He's playing out of his mind. I love it. Acuna's actually hasn't started great. I think he's only hitting like 167.
It's because he was playing the WBC.
Probably tired, yeah.
His
Needs
best
a little bit of break.
baseball is the WBC.
Well, and they just played 12 games in a row.
Yeah, there's that. Yeah, I think it's good. Great, dude. Great fight. Just like Greg Hawkins said right here. Great fight. Absolutely true. Love it. You love to see it. You love to see it. Once again, folks, we want to hear from you. Let us know what your thoughts are in the comments down below. As a reminder, folks, this channel did hit 1,000 subscribers. Our main channel, DNA Sports Recap. Once this channel hits $500 in AdSense revenue, we're giving that away to 5 subscribers. Each are going to earn $100 each. So if you are not yet, subscribe to the channel so you don't miss out on that giveaway.
Yep, and if you're watching on YouTube on one of our short videos, just know this whole thing is available as a podcast wherever you get your audio.
With all that said, my name is Darren, that is AJ, and this has been an episode of the DNA Sports Recap.
Till next time.